Let's make a miniature macaroon tower from polymer clay. And welcome to my channel, Notorious Crafts. I'm using polymer clay from the brand Sculpey, and for these macaroons I'm going to use some pastel colors. To make the macaroons, I am using this silicone mold. Use code YouTube20 to get 20% off this exact mold. The link is down below in the description, as well as to all the other supplies I am using in this video. I start by warming up the clay using my fingers straight out of the packaging. It is still hard, so this will help soften it. To make each macaron, I'm just taking a small pinch of clay and then putting the clay inside of the mold and removing the extra clay, and then continuing just pressing down the clay into the mold until the mold is fully filled out. I like using silicone molds because you can check the other side to make sure you fully filled out the mold and there aren't any air pockets. I did make a lot of these, and with a silicone mold, I can get the same exact shape every time. This tool with a hook at the end helped remove some of the extra clay, and I just kept my larger piece of clay nearby so that I could remove the excess easily right back onto my bigger clay pile. It did help to have small balls of clay right next to the mold that I could just easily pop into it. This process can be time-consuming if you plan on making a lot of these. One tip on removing clay from the silicone is to attach it onto your main clay pile and then gently remove it off of that. I found that sometimes it could be difficult to remove the clay from inside of the silicone mold. Once I was done making a lot of these, I popped these in the oven to bake and harden. While the miniature pink clay macaroons were baking, I went ahead and started making some purple ones. And this is the same exact process as I've been doing before. I'm just inserting a small amount of clay into the mold and then using a tool to remove the excess. With the purple macaroons, I kept them a lot more organized than the pink ones so that I would easily be able to count them. Each macaroon went into one of my mini grid tiles on my mat, so I had a total of 50 macaroons. And then I placed them in the oven to bake and harden. I poured some liquid white polymer clay into this bottle where I attached a fine tip so that I can easily decorate the inside of my macarons. I poured just a little bit of the liquid white polymer clay inside each of the macaroons and then placed one on top of the other to make kind of like a sandwich. I used these crafting tweezers to help me. I didn't want to squeeze the macaroon sandwich so that the white liquid polymer clay would not pour out if I pressed too hard. That's where these tweezers are very handy. And then I used my crafting tweezers to gently place each of the macaroons onto my baking sheet so that the liquid clay can harden. And then I placed these in the oven to bake. And here are all of the macaroons once they are done baking and cooled and out of the oven. I really love how they look. And now I'm going to use some white clay to make a cone shape that the macaroons are going to be attached to. I did hollow out the bottom of the cone so that it would bake faster. I'm using this clay adhesive from the brand Sculpey to attach each of the macaroons onto the clay cone. Using these tweezers made it a lot easier to attach each of the macaroons. I decided to do this on my baking sheet so that I wouldn't have to lift the cone and the macaroons while the clay adhesive would be still wet and risk losing some of the macaroons falling in the process. Now I'm going to bake this before I add on the next layer of macaroons. Once that layer was done baking, I added on the next layer of pink macaroons and then baked it before the next and just kept repeating that same process over and over again. And for the very last layer, I added just one single macaron on top in the upright position and then baked it for one last time. And here's the final result of my macaron tower. I was inspired to make these after seeing the macaron towers at the French bakery LADUREE. Let me know if any of you have ever been to LADUREE. It is one of my favorite bakeries for macarons. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.